listen, I want to take you all back to when Kamala Prasad-Bissessar literally stated her government is working for the people and we put in people first, and her back pay will come for everybody in the form of that 10%. The people will get their money. Kamala is giving the people their money. Listen to when she said it and listen to what they are saying now, what other presidents are now saying. Take a listen.
Today, my government has acted decisively to correct this grave injustice and to restore what was lawfully, rightfully, to the workers of the NIBTT who were denied for far too long. In correcting this wrong, we are reinstating the dignity of workers, we are reaffirming their humanity, and we are upholding the rule of not only about barriers, it is about lawful agreements, defending fundamental rights, and providing that in a just democracy, no citizen is ever beneath the protection of the law or beyond the reach of fairness. Accordingly, my cabinet has directed the NIBTT to do the following: to implement the agreed salary adjustments with immediate effect, to facilitate the full and prompt payment of all outstanding arrears to affected employees without delay. Mr. Speaker, I make bold as to say this is not merely the execution of a contract. This is the restoration of justice and fulfillment of our workers' agenda. And this is, Mr. Speaker, I am proud to say, delivery of another campaign promise. This is another promise we have kept to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. When UNC wins, the NIBTT workers win, and everyone wins.
When UNC wins, the NIBTT win, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago win. Now, that day was budget. Right after people say, how, we have no money, the country has no money, they're still saying that. But when Rowley went to Parliament to pass that, hey, he could get a pension increase, the same people that saying how, saying nothing now. They say nothing now. They said nothing then. They're saying something now, but they said nothing then. Right? They said nothing at all. But Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, when she came into office, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar went to Parliament to say, hey, you can't serve as Prime Minister for 1 minute and get 80,000 pension. No, we had to change that. And that was changed. The law was changed in your favor, Trinidad and Tobago. And Kamala Prasad-Bissessar later on said during budget, 10%, 10%, 10%. And you say no to it. Your economists coming out now to talk about inflation, inflation, inflation. Where was all these economists when Keith Rowley was borrowing billions of dollars from China? Billions from China. They borrowed. Who paying that back? They ran this country into a deep deficit. Colin Lindbergh come out so much times and say, Madam Speaker, the country booming. While prices for gas going up, while prices for textbooks going up, while prices for everything, flour increase. Y'all forget NFM. Don't forget that. Flour increase. Petrotrin closed down. Madam Speaker, the economy is booming, Madam Speaker. Or Mr. Speaker, whichever one. It's booming. But Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, leader galore, is leading with vision for Trinidad and Tobago. PNM, well, at least the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and that's the late, great Patrick Manning, spoke about a plan for TNT. It's today in the form of a revitalization and more. Right? The PNM said, that we idea, that we own, oh God, that we own. But they did nothing about it. during 2015. They did nothing about it in 2016, nothing about it in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, they lost the election. They did nothing about Patrick Manning Plan and Vision 2020. Kamala Prasad said, hey, we're going to revitalize and we're going to restore Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to move the economy forward and ask for private sector growth and development, which Kamala Prasad spoke about during her opposition term. During her campaign term in 2020 as well, she spoke about private sectors being main drivers of economic growth. She said, and I quote, "You cannot tax this nation into prosperity." She said it countless of times to the PNM and spoke about how to generate revenue and revenue generation. And she spoke about private sector growth. PNM today, as we plan. Oh God, we plan. But it did nothing to enhance the Patrick Manning Vision 2015 all the way up to now. Nothing. But we plan. At least you can see Trinidad and Tobago, a leader that is doing what is needed to be done for Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of political affiliations. Because even the PNM benefiting, them inside Parliament, them benefiting. But listen, 10% for all. And now everybody want 10%. Everybody want the money now, right? Under PNM, nobody want the money. Under UNC, everybody want the money. I go to say something, but I can't. Take a listen.
A major showdown is looming in the public sector with both the Unified Teachers Association and the National Union of Government and Federated Workers warning that the government's proposed 10% wage settlement offers little comfort to workers who still cannot secure their basic entitlements or long-delayed back pay. The two unions representing tens of thousands of workers say the state's recent posture amounts to increasing instability, disrespect and financial strain on public officers heading into Christmas. Speaking on the Morning Brew, NUGFW President Christopher Street, who represents more than 17,000 active daily rated workers, says the settlement for the PSA sets an important benchmark, but warned that daily rated employees are among the lowest paid in the public sector and cannot survive on anything less than a meaningful cash-based improvement.
We may not finish at 10 because our members, as we know, as we said, are the lowest wrong. 10% on a high figure is not the same thing as 10% on a lower figure. So we want a living wage. That is what we want to establish for our members, a living wage. Just imagine, the last time we got to increase my better, most of our workers can't afford cars and vehicles. They have to travel. A short drop was $2. You know how much a short drop now? And they would have had to manage that and pay for their children and everything.
TTUTA President Crystal Ash revealed that TTUTA will convene an emergency general council meeting where the organization is expected to decide its next steps, as he says frustration is reaching a tipping point. Ash urged the Ministry of Finance to keep its promise regarding outstanding payments and called on the personnel officer to act swiftly.
Now, the General Council is fondly referred to as the War Council in TTUTA. So basically, the War Council meeting tomorrow, and we're going and do what we do. So like I tell you, I start off with a little red, a little fiery, and there's more fire throughout the day, and there's more fire coming. Now, not to be disrespectful to the minister or the government or anything like that, but the right thing is the right thing. My father always taught me that. He said the wrong thing can never be the right thing. And if you do the right thing, you have no problems. But you have people doing the wrong thing, and then other persons like myself, or other union leaders, being quiet about it. We will not be quiet. We will not be silenced. TTUTA will not be silenced.
Now, I don't think that anyone will be left on the bread. No, I don't think that anyone will be left out in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't think so. And I'm speaking particularly to those in the public sector as well, and mainly for teachers as well, because a lot of teachers want to know what's happening with them. And I really don't think that TTUTA's fight is with UNC or the government. I'm not politicizing the thing, but not with the government. The fact is that during a previous administration, TTUTA President Lumking would have agreed to a 5 or a 4%, 4 to 5% or 4%, all right? And you're asking, you're hoping, you're asking, you're urging the government to rescind such and come to the bargaining table again to ask for a larger percentage, because Felicia, the president of the Public Service Association, she got through with a 10%. And it's only because literally PSA President Miss Felicia, the fact is, regardless of everything, regardless of if you want to politicize it and say she was on the campaign trail and she get through, the reality is that Felicia did not accept the 4% and she fought for the 10%. She was in consultations. She was speaking with the Prime Minister, the opposition at the time. She was in conversations with it. Now, as far as I know, the role of a president of a union is to lobby. Y'all are like lobbyist movements. Y'all are supposed to lobby for your members. And if the former president wasn't lobbying for members, how now you could come and say that the government is not taking people on or is a fight? Because it's not a fight. Kamala Prasad, the assessor, said that everyone will benefit. But if everybody want the money now, will they go bankrupt the country? And it making sense to me, you know. Everybody want the money in 2025. I want my money in 2025. I want to get paid in 2025. But you're bankrupting the country for your own selfish gains? That's what you're doing? Yes, it's a promise. But nowhere did Kamala Prasad Bissessar say she will fulfill the promise in the first day in office. When I assume office, day one, billions of dollars paid out to everybody. That's irresponsible. Y'all are irresponsible. Unions need to do a better job at relaying information to their members. No way, no how you telling me that you could get all your money now